Hi everybody, it's Oksana. Today I want to show you how to make this ring. It's made with resin. Art resin is what I use. And I have this cute little dragonfly spacer bead that I put in here, but obviously you can put whatever you want. And this ring is partially clear in the front, and then it is a solid color. It's white in the back. So if you want to see how to make this, then just keep watching. So here are the supplies that I'm going to be using. I have my art resin, 2-part resin that I'm just going to mix up according to the instructions, just a little bit of it. I have little measuring cups. They're just tiny little medicine measuring cups. So I'll probably mix up just like 10 milliliters because you don't need very much for the ring. And here's my little ring mold. I got this on AliExpress. It was actually a gift with purchase. I purchased some other molds and they threw this in, so I don't know if this is sold on its own or not, but I'm sure if you Google silicone ring mold, you'll find some. These are going to be my pigments. So first I'm going to use titanium dioxide for the white, and then I'm going to use this black oxide. It's iron oxide. These are both matte powder pigments. You just need a little bit. If you do too much, it'll thicken up your resin and it might get bubbles in it. And you can find these on TKB Trading, which is an online website that sells pigments. So here's my resin, and I sprinkled a little bit of the titanium dioxide. I am just gonna mix that in. Sorry, I had to put my camera down to be able to mix. And I'll probably need to add a little bit more, but I'm just going to do a little bit at a time and just mix it thoroughly because I don't want to add too much. And you can see like little pieces of it in there, so you do have to mix it really well. You're going to get like little specks of it. And here's what mine looks like so far, and I think I'm going to sprinkle just a little bit. It's almost enough to be opaque, so just a tiny bit more. So now you just want to let it sit for a few minutes, and you can see the bubbles in there. The bubbles are going to kind of rise to the top, and then you can use a lighter and just, gently run it over the surface, and that'll pop all the bubbles. But first give it a few minutes so all the bubbles can rise to the top. So now all that's left to do is just to pour it into the mold. Since I'm holding the camera, I can't really do this very well, so I'm going to have to pour it in a messy way, but not a big deal. We can just clean it up afterwards. You can see it sinking down in there. So you just want to do that, and then you can use like a little toothpick or something to push that in. And I actually like to, let me put it over here on this used glove that I'm just going to throw away. I like to get this excess off. That way you won't have to trim that off when it's dry, because otherwise it'll be connected to your ring, this extra, and you'll just have to like use scissors or something to trim that off. But you can just clean it up now. And this is step 1 to making our ring, making a completely white ring. So I'm going to leave it outside here in the sunshine, and it'll solidify for me in a few hours. Usually the heat helps it go much faster, but it might take a little longer for you if you are in a cold climate. But basically we're just waiting for it to solidify. The nice thing about art resin is it remains kind of soft and almost rubbery for a little bit. It doesn't just become rock solid right away, so it's nice for this purpose. It's going to make it easier for us to work with, but I will show it to you guys when this is cured. Popped my ring out of the mold. Still very flexible. Oh, I got some dirt on it. But it's not tacky or sticky, so it is cured. But it is very flexible. So what I'm going to do now is just take some scissors and cut it in half. Just like that. And what you want to do now is just pop this back into the mold. And you actually have two pieces, but we're only going to use one. And when you pop it back into the mold, keep in mind which part, like I know this is the top, just by the way that it looks for me, versus this bottom is more smooth. So you want to put it in the right way. And then also, my ring is not smooth. It's got these little facets on it. So I want to make sure, like I'm looking at my mold and I want to make sure I pop it in correctly so that there's no gaps. Alright, so now it's in here, nice and tight, flush with the mold. And I'm going to mix up a new batch of resin. And then I have this little dragonfly that I want to embed. You can embed whatever you want. And so I'm just going to pour in some clear resin here and stick my little dragonfly in like this. It does stick out, but that's okay. I don't mind. I think that'll look neat. And that's it. So I'm going to pour in some clear resin. I'm going to pour it in first. And then I'll stick my dragonfly in. I'll let it cure and I'll show you guys what it ends up looking like. You can tint it or put glitter in it as well. Just if you do tint it, it may run onto the white a tiny bit here. So keep that in mind. Alright, so here's the finished result. I took it out of the mold. You can probably see it a little better on a black background. And if your resin kind of seeps over the edges, you can trim that off with scissors, because at first it's very rubbery, so it's easy to kind of trim and stuff. And the clear, it will kind of seep onto this part. The nice thing about it being clear is that you can't tell, but if you do want to use two colors, and keep in mind that it may kind of seep in through, especially if your mold is like mine and it's not smooth. It's got like these textures and you have to line it up perfectly so there's no little gaps. You know, it's really hard to get it so the resin doesn't, you know, migrate. But as long as you use clear, then it won't really be noticeable. So this is the ring. Here's what it looks like. I think it's kind of cute because it almost, you just see the little butterfly. I mean the little dragonfly, and it's clear, kind of like blends in. So anyways, that is it. That's how you make this ring. So thank you so much for watching. I'll see you next time. Bye.